Okay, so I'm going to stop the Zoom. There's no point in zooming. Everyone's here. All right. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Today, as you can tell from up here, today is Monday. We're going to be continuing 2 problems. You can see on my list here kind of what we're doing each day on this 5-day review. We're doing 2 problems today, 2 problems tomorrow, and 2 problems on Wednesday. Wednesday is a very shortened day. It's like 25 minutes or 26 minutes or something like that. So be ready to go on Wednesday. If you know you can't be here, I'll explain that here in a second. Now, when is this practice guide due, completed, finished? Monday the 4th. Okay, that's when the practice guides are all due. Okay, so you got to turn it in. If you're that person that needs to study, you're going to have to take pictures, make a copy before you walk in here on Monday, because you have to turn in Monday. Okay, and we'll just use that day as like a mini review. Semester test is Tuesday, the day after that. Okay, it's January 5th. That's like the second day we're back, right? So it's a 1-day, 1 class period test. You have to have it finished in this class period. The reason being is I leave at 2 o'clock that day. You don't get to come in after school and finish it. It has to be done in this class, okay? So that means, like, when you're doing this studying, you have to be really good at what you're doing. So really watch those videos, really study the work so that you know exactly how efficient you need to be. This is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. I get it done super quick and I move on to the next problem. So you're not wasting time like, yeah, I need to figure out the 15 steps. No, you need to be like super quick at it, okay? All late work, assignments, missing stuff in JMC in the Google Classroom needs to be turned in by this Wednesday. I know some of you have done a pretty good job of trying to get stuff in. It's due in 2 days from now, all late work. Because after Wednesday, so on Thursday this week, I delete everything in the classroom so you can't submit it. So like it's gone and you don't even know what the assignment was anymore. Because it's due Wednesday. Does that make sense? It's a hard cutoff date. Okay? Because it's been plenty of time. So you should know that. Okay, so up here you can kind of see it. We're going to be going through 2 problems today. We're going to walk through it now. If let's say you were gone Friday. Let's say you were absent, you were gone, you were sick, something was going on, you were not in class. Okay? You can go on my website, mrward.org or ghvmath.com or hsmath.org or whatever address you have for my website. Okay, you could either scroll down to the bottom and see what we did in class that day. I only have the previous day work right here because I always like to have at least the updated stuff that we did yesterday. And then, or you can click on this little daily lessons tab at the top and go down to consumer. This is everything we did throughout the year. It has every video throughout the year. You can go back. It has a little spin cart so you can see all the other videos we've done, right? But I will have the review days at the top, so you don't need to scroll through them. The review days are right here. Part 1, Part 2. This is Thursday and Fridays. So you can see it. They're going to stay up there all break. They stay up there forever. I'm never going to take them down. But you can watch them over and over and over and over and see exactly what we did. So if you click on it, it has the detailed notes of what we did, right? The outline of what we've been doing. It's got, when the homework's due. It's got, the slideshows in case you can't see some of these problems. It's got the actual PowerPoints we're doing. Sorry, I must be on my cell phone. I can tell by how slow this thing is loading. Okay, it's got, let me hit the refresh. It was loading off my cell phone. I could tell I was connected to my cell phone. So you can see it's got all my work. It's got all the stuff we did in class, all my little handwritten notes, everything. I take screenshots as we go. Okay. And then it's got the original problems. It's got all the work that I did by hand, and then it's got the video as well of me talking. Now, the reason why I posted the pictures of just my handwritten notes is the reason why is if you watch the video, you'll see I'll have a little picture-in-picture down in the corner. And sometimes that little picture of me, because that's the audio is that gets in the way sometimes of the work. Like you can't see the work that's down here in the corner sometimes. So I post the pictures of just that so you can kind of use that as your guide. So like that, like right here, you wouldn't be able to see that part. Or maybe this part would get cut off by the picture-in-picture. Like this is definitely gone. It gets covered up. So just be kind of aware of that. Questions? I thought I saw a hand. Okay, so yeah. So you can use the picture. I would probably recommend watch the video because it's probably more detailed. Like this is why we're doing it. And this is what we're doing. So, but yeah. So if you've been gone the last couple days, you can click. Now this is from what? Friday, I think. Yeah, this was Fridays. So, but you can go back to the main part here and see Thursdays as well. So it's the same stuff. I just keep adding more. And every day the slideshow just keeps getting bigger. I just keep adding more pictures to that slideshow of all my handwritten work. So every day there's just more of the handwritten stuff in there. It's not just what we did that day. I have all of them compounding. So every day the PowerPoints just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I think it's important. If you're on the last day, you get to see all the stuff we did previously as well. The videos change, but all those pictures I put on those slideshows just keep growing. Because it's pretty easy to do that. Copy it. Okay, questions before we begin. Okay, let's jump right in. So, all right, we have questions 6 and 7 today. We did the first 5 the last 2 days in here. So now I'm going to flip through these so you can see the problems one more time, just so you can see the problems in case you have a quick question. I'm not going to go through all of these. I just want you to see the questions one more time in case you have a question. One was the overtime pay. So bless you. It was overtime. It was, working on a holiday, so you got to figure out how much money you made total, Keith in this case. Number 2 is commission, so you're selling some really large, expensive item and you're earning a salary off of it as well. 3 was, doing the taxes and deductions off your paycheck to figure out what your net pay was. 4, I think this is the new question we did on Friday. You had to figure out what the down payment was if you're paying 20% of that house, and then what the final mortgage loan that you had to take after you made your down payment. And then 5, you had to figure out what you're paying totally after 30 years and what the interest paid. I'm not going to lie, this problem was astronomically big. 30 years, $70,000 home at 12% interest. You're paying like $2 million for that home. It was some stupid number.
Not even worth it.
So, no, it was not. So yeah, it was a pretty gnarly problem. Okay. All right. Yeah, it was definitely not worth it. I would not take that loan. I mean, for $2 million, you could have lived on the lake. I wouldn't buy that home, that $70,000 home for $2 million, right? So that's why you always want to pay it off early. The earlier you pay it off, the less money you pay to the bank. That 12% is just stupid. That's a stupid percent. Don't take that loan. Loans, I don't like to take a loan if it's over 3 or 4%. That's just, you're paying too much money. All right. We're starting with number 6 today, and we're moving on to 7. I think we're only doing 2 problems, 6 and 7. So here's number 6. It's about car loans, and then 7 is the insurance you have to get on that car. So I thought these are pretty fitting. They kind of go together. On Tuesday, tomorrow, I think we have the race format question. We'll practice that a little bit. Now, your guys' race format's really easy, so it's meant to be simple. Just clarify how to read a map, basically, so you know what you're talking about. So, all right. But now the formula you need to have, because again, the formulas are the hard parts. That's the part you have to memorize. Like we talked about on Monday, or I guess Friday. Sorry, Friday. You had to memorize that compound interest formula for home loans. This is also a formula you have to memorize. Here's the formula. It is the simple interest formula. Here it is. This is the simple interest formula for a car loan. Now, what this formula entails, now it could be written a little bit different. It could have an A instead of an I. Let's walk through what each of these parts are. The I is the total interest that you pay. It's the total interest paid for your car. It's the extra money paid. It's the extra cash. If it lets me write... Oh my goodness, I hate that spot. It's the extra cash you paid for that home. Okay, it's the extra cash. P is the principal. It's the initial amount that you're borrowing. It's the initial amount. Initial means starting amount. So what do you take out the loan for? No, not the item, but what was the actual price of the loan? The R is the interest rate. And this has to be in decimal form. Has to be in decimal form. And then T is obviously time. It's your term. That one, I don't even think I need to explain that, but T is time. And that has to be in years. All right, let's plug in my numbers. Let's talk about how it works, and then we'll go through the details here. So I is equal to, what is the initial amount that I'm borrowing for my car? $23,195. Okay. Interest rate. 0.045. 045. You have to move the decimal over 2 spots. And then time. 6 years. You have to multiply by 6. In fact, let me get rid of all this. I'm gonna rewrite that before I take a screenshot of that. I don't like the way I have that written. It's kind of confusing. I is equal to 23,195 times 0.045 times 6. The interest has to be in decimal form. Brandon said it probably best last week. To find interest rate, you move it over 2 spots, or you just divide that number by 100. It's pretty clever. That 4.5 divided by 100 is 0.045. Now, if we multiply these together, what are we getting? Does anyone actually have a calculator or need one? If you need a calculator, I think I got some. Did anyone need one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hand some of these out so you guys can do some quick calculations. I think it's important you guys get to actually see where these numbers are coming from. So, anyone else need one? Type it in, let's see what you guys are coming up with. So, 23,195 times 0.045 times 6. What are we getting?
6,262.65.
Boom. 6,262.65. So, that is the extra cash you're paying for this car. You're paying an extra $6,000 to take out this loan today. That's a really big loan. That's a very, very expensive loan for that car. Okay? So that means the total you paid for the car, the total that you paid is the $23,195. You add the interest. That's the extra cash. So what you're going to pay for this car over 6 years of taking out this loan you're paying a total of $27,657.65. Paying $27,000 for a $23,000 car. Probably not the smartest loan you're going to take. Now, does this make sense how we calculated up to this point? Again, that's a formula you have to have memorized. Is everyone getting that number, or did I get something different?
I got 29,400.
Ooh, okay, hold on. Oh, I typed it in wrong. Never mind. Hold on. Mistake. I just looked at my number, and instead of typing 23,000, I typed 21,000. Hold on. 23,195 plus 6262.65. 29,000. There we go. 29,457.65. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, typed it in wrong. I'm just not going to use this calculator. I don't really like these. My fingers do not work with that calculator. Okay, now, did that number make more sense? Okay, now, that was the total paid for the vehicle, right? That was this part right here. Find the amount paid. Boom, found it. It's 29,000 something. How do we find the monthly payments now? Divide by 12 and divide by 6, because we went for 6 years, 12 months a year. So you're going to take your 29,457.65. You're going to divide by 12 because that's once a month, and you're going to divide by 6 for that many years. And this will give you your monthly payment. Now, $23,000 car, I'm going to expect about $400 payment. And that's just ballpark. I haven't even typed it in yet. Just $409. Yeah, that was just going off of my personal experience borrowing or buying cars. Yeah, $409. pretty close to my first major car that I purchased. Oh.
Do we have to put the dollar sign to get points?
No.
All right.
No. But you have to have all these things figured out. So 409. Okay. Everyone understand what they're coming up with on that one? Do you see the steps you're going to have to take? All right, we have one more question to go through, but I want to make sure. That's why I'm only picking like a couple problems each day, to make sure that I'm not overwhelming you, to make sure that you're comfortable, you can ask questions, that you can see exactly this is how I do it, what I need to do. Because obviously you have to have this stuff memorized. You have to know how to do this stuff. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to have the formulas printed on there on test day. So you got to know what you're doing. It's a simple interest loan. Oh, it was really close to my first car I purchased. Not my first car. First major car, I should say. First major sports car. All right. Let's move on. Last question of the day. I said we're only doing 2 today. It's pretty easy. We got to figure out the insurance rates. This is Lindsay. She's living in a high-risk area. So right now, by already knowing that first sentence, that Lindsay is living in a high-risk area, I'm already on this top row. Does everyone see that? If it says low risk, I'm on the lower average. You got to pay attention in the story problem. This particular girl is looking for a 40, 80, 50 coverage. 40, 80, and a 50 coverage. 50 is the property damage. The personal injury is the individual, and then the total max payout. So that's what the 40/80 stands for, and that's in thousands. So 40,000 per person, 80,000 for the total payout for the entire accident. And then coverage is 50,000 for property damages. That's cars, telephone poles, whatever you guys hit. Walls, buildings. It's not very much. Now, what do I do with these two numbers? Say it again? Yeah, you got to add them, right? I got to figure out what her total premium is for 6 months. So this, if I add these two numbers together, 610 plus the 148, I'm getting 758. $758. Now, that is not my final. That's just her 6-month policy. What is that factor idea? What is this thing all about?
Times it by 1.29.
Yeah. Every person has a different factor number. It depends on how risky they are, right? Girls are typically lower than guys unless they have speeding tickets. Then their number goes up to what the guys' numbers are, 1.29. That is actually a pretty low factor number compared to what it could do. So you're going to take this number times the 1.29, and that will tell you what you're paying totally over 6 months. So times 1.29, I'm paying $977.82. I'm not going to ask you to find the monthly payments or anything like that. I just want to know what you paid total. If you want to figure out what you pay for 6 months, you divide that, you have to pay $162 a month if you want to figure out what you're paying per month. That's a pretty pricey car payment, or insurance payment. Insurance is expensive, especially when you're younger. So just be aware of that when you buy your first car. If you have to pay the insurance yourself, I know I had to. It's expensive, especially for guys. Oh my God. I remember my insurance policy, like I was a 16-year-old kid getting a truck. My insurance skyrocketed. I got in an accident. I wasn't even in my car. It was sitting in a parking lot, and somebody ran into my car, and my insurance went through the roof. Because it was already my first accident, and I was 16 years of age. I wasn't even in the car. Let's just say that my parents switched insurance companies really shortly after that. They weren't too happy with that. So, all right, well there you go. That's it for today. Pretty easy.